Hello, and welcome to the library training video series. So this one will be focused on Google Scholar. So first thing you want to do, if you haven't already, is go ahead and go to scholar.google.com. Take you to this screen, which is very similar to the regular Google homepage, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. So for Google Scholar, you see, like many other things, it has some features right here down below about articles about the coronavirus. But if we're doing a search based on one of your research topics, we can go ahead and start from that initial box. So say we're doing a research project on green energy. So we can go ahead and put those initial terms, and then as you see from the drop down, it gives us many other options. We'll go ahead and keep it that brief one to begin with. And there it will show us how many results it found, and then it shows them based on relevance for our term. So this first one here, green energy strategies for sustainable development, is our first choice. So that's from 2006. Again, you might want to think about the timeliness. If we want something a little more recent, we can go ahead and change that. So over here, instead of doing it from any time, we'll go ahead and do since 2016. So that has changed things so that as we're looking at these, if we want to read any of them directly, if there is a PDF or HTML available, you see it listed over here. And if we click on any of those to open them up, this particular one comes to us from ResearchGate. So this will allow us to read the full article. If that doesn't happen, we can talk about that. So for example, this first one is showing us from Elsevier. So if we wanted to look at that, we could go to the article. And so this is sending us to Science Direct. So it shows us a lot of the details from the article, the figures, a fuller abstract. If we want to try and read this, up here at the top, you see there's the Get Access option. So we can click that. And you see now it's giving us three choices. So we could buy the PDF directly, or we could rent it, which neither of those do we need to do. But there is the option to see if your login credentials of your institution can get it. So if we hit the check access there, you see you can enter information here. Over on the right, there is sign in via your institution. There is an Open Athens option. So that is what our library used. So if you click that, it can take you to this screen, and then over here on the right, we can go ahead and type in Juniata College, and it's found us, and then it will take us to this screen, so the Authenticate Juniata.edu. On this one, you can go ahead and enter your Juniata credentials and your password, and then it will take us through Open Athens into that database. And now we see we have that we can download it as a PDF, or we can read the full thing through this database page. As we're looking at those sources, so we were able to read that one fully. If we found we liked it, we can do this in the database where we see the article citing it, or we can see the cited by down below and look through those to get an idea for whether or not any of those will be helpful. And then over here in the left-hand corner, there are the three lines, at least while we're looking in Google Chrome. We can open that and we see advanced search features. So we did the green energy there. We could also do it as an exact search phrase, which should lower our results. And while we're in that control panel, if we open that back up, you see there's a settings sprocket down at the bottom. An option says library links. We can go ahead and search for Juniata College here. And then if we check that box and save, now when we're going through these, if it is something that might be available through Juniata, we now have that Find It at Juniata option. So we're seeing several of these are through that Elsevier where we already were. So let's go to our next page and see, okay, so here's one from ACS Publications, Spent Coffee Grounds as a Versatile Source of Green Energy. So that might be helpful depending on where I'm going. So if I hit that Find It at Juniata option, you see it sends me to this EBSCOhost login. And just like we did with Elsevier, we find the Open Athens login option. We go ahead and select that. And then since we were already logged in when we looked at Elsevier, it's going to let us go directly in. And there's the PDF if we want it. If not, we can go through and look directly on this page. As you're going through with this research or others, if you find a resource that you are unable to get the full text, remember that you can reach out to the librarian. So here we are at the library's homepage, libguides.juniata.edu. Down here on the bottom right is the contact a librarian option. So you can click that and it'll show you all of our pictures with our contact information, as well as the subject areas we typically work with students in. Or if we jump back once to that homepage under student resources, again, if you found an article that looks really good, but we do not have direct access, you can always request that we get that from another library. So this is the form for that. So that would require your contact information. And then let's say this hydrogen production from renewable and sustainable energy resources was not available as a PDF. If we hit the show more option, we'd want to go through and work through those different fields to fill this out. So we'd be looking renewable and sustainable energy reviews would go in the journal title. Then our authors looks like it'd be Sayed Ehsan Hosseini and Mazlan Abdul Wahid. Those would go in this line. Our article title is this long sentence here. And then we just keep going, filling in as much of the information we can get from the source as possible, making sure to include the date when we would need it for, as well as what class, because that helps us at the library. And again, you can always reach out to a librarian, or you could always, from our homepage, you could always just ask through the chat, which will be covered in another video.